Nobody warned you about the silence. Not the silence of being broke. You knew that silence. You'd lived inside it your whole life. The silence of a father who changed the subject when someone mentioned savings. The silence after you asked for something and saw your mother's face calculate whether the answer could even be yes. That silence you understood. The silence nobody warned you about was the one that comes after. The one that greets you on the Wednesday, an ordinary, unremarkable Wednesday, when you look at a number on a screen and for the first time in your entire life, that number has your name on it, really on it. And the room goes completely, impossibly quiet. Stay with me, because this story is yours, even if you haven't lived it yet. Level 1. The ceiling you were born under you didn't grow up poor in the way poverty gets described in documentaries. It was quieter than that, more domestic, more personal. It lived in the small things. The way certain topics in your house had invisible walls around them. The way the future was something other families talked about freely, and in yours, it was a subject that always, somehow, got redirected. Not because anyone was cruel, because hope in certain households is a luxury that costs too much. You absorbed it the way children absorb everything, completely. Silently, without knowing you were being taught. By the time you were old enough to have ambitions, you already had a ceiling. You just couldn't see it yet. It wasn't made of wood or concrete. It was made of something far more durable. It was made of what you believed was normal. And the most dangerous ceilings are always the ones that feel like sky. Level 2. The crack the moment it breaks is never cinematic. You're not standing on a mountaintop. You're somewhere ordinary. A late night, a screen, a room you've stared at so many times you've stopped seeing it. And something enters your mind. One thought. Quiet, but irreversible. These people didn't start with more than me. They just stopped believing the ceiling was real. That thought is the most dangerous and most important thing that will ever happen to you. Because the moment you think it, you can't unthink it. You don't tell anyone. Not yet. You already know how it lands. You've watched what your community does to ambition. It doesn't attack it loudly. It simply waits. It calls you unrealistic in a caring voice. It reminds you what happened to the last person who tried. It wraps doubt in the language of love, and it's so effective you almost can't tell the difference. So you go quiet, you read at night, you fill pages with ideas that feel simultaneously obvious and impossible. You are building a world inside your head that has no address in the real world yet. Not yet. Level 3. The grind nobody posts about 2 years in, your bank account does not reflect your hours. This is the chapter that gets cut from every success story. Every how I built it video skips straight from I had an idea to, and then it worked. Nobody shows you the middle. Nobody shows you what it looks like to be genuinely tired. Not physically tired, but tired in the bones, and keep going anyway. Your friends stop inviting you places. Not because they stopped caring. Because you said no enough times that they stopped expecting yes. And then they stopped asking. You told yourself, this is the price it is. But prices still cost something, even when you choose to pay them. Your family asks questions with an edge now. When is this going to become something real? Not because they want you to fail. They genuinely, desperately don't. But because watching someone you love gamble on themselves is terrifying when you've only ever seen that bet lose. And then one night, it's 3 a.m., let's be specific, it's always 3 a.m., the voice arrives. The voice that sounds exactly like every person who ever doubted you. And it says, very calmly, very reasonably, nobody from where you come from has done this. That's not a coincidence. That's data. You sit with that for a long time, and then you get up. Not because you're built differently. Not because you have some rare psychological superpower. You get up because you've spent long enough at the starting line to know that going backward isn't a life anymore. You burned that floor. There's nothing to go back to, so you keep going. Level 4. The first real sign. It's not a million. It's not even close, but it's real, and it's yours. Maybe it's the first month your income covers rent without panic. Maybe it's the first time a stranger pays you for something you made with your own mind. Maybe it's a number in your account that, 2 years ago, would have felt like a misprint. Whatever it is, it arrives on a Tuesday. Quietly. without ceremony, and you stare at it for longer than makes sense. Then you close the screen. Because here's the thing nobody warns you about the first real win when you've built something alone. There's no one to call, not because you have no one, but because the person you most want to tell doesn't have the context. Explaining what this number means would require explaining everything. Every night, every loss, every moment of doubt, and you don't have the energy for everything tonight. So you sit with it, you let it be real. And for the first time, you believe, not in your head, but in your body, in your chest, in the part of you that's been afraid for years, that the ceiling is breakable. You know it now the way you know your own name. Keep going. Level 5. The crossing the number becomes real on a Wednesday, not a dramatic Wednesday. You're sitting somewhere ordinary and you run the numbers the way you've run them 100 times before. And this time, they clear. 7 figures. You check it twice. You close it. You open it again. You thought this moment would feel like a finish line, like the release of a breath you've been holding for years. You thought your nervous system would send a signal. This is it. You did it instead. Quiet. Profound, disorienting quiet, because there is no reference for this moment in your family's history. No language for it in the house you grew up in. No elder who has stood here before and can tell you what to do with your hands. You want to call your mother. You do. You talk for 20 minutes. You don't mention the number. Not because you're hiding it. Because you don't know how to say it without it becoming something it isn't. Something that puts distance between you. Puts water between two people who love each other, makes her feel the gap instead of the warmth. So you say you're doing well. She says, eat something real, not just whatever's fast you hang up. You sit in the quiet for a long time. And then slowly, over the following weeks, you begin to understand something. Becoming wealthy is not the end of your financial education. It is the beginning of a harder one. One for which no one left you a manual. Level 6. The wait nobody names you go home. Same house. Same smell in the walls. Same table with the folded napkin under one leg, and there is a gap. Not between you and the people you love. You love them more clearly now, if anything. Distance clarifies what actually matters. The gap is between the life you left and the life you're living. You feel it the way you feel a change in pressure. Nobody names, nobody has to. You pay for dinner. They say you didn't have to. You say you wanted to. A silence follows, lasts exactly 1 second too long, then everyone moves on. But it happened. You start losing people who aren't even leaving. No dramatic exits, no confrontations. Just a slow drift, 2 boats that were once tied together, and someone has been quietly letting out the rope for months. By the time you notice, the shore where you started is just a shape in the distance. An old friend makes a comment at dinner that lands like a stone. Something dressed as a joke, carrying the full weight of something else underneath it. You don't address it. He doesn't apologize. You call each other less. And then there is the guilt. The guilt nobody talks about. Not abstract guilt. Something more specific, more stubborn. The guilt of watching someone you love still worry about money when you have the ability to end that worry with a single action. And not knowing how to do it without changing something between you that can never be changed back. The guilt of surviving something that wasn't supposed to be survived. You carry it. You get used to it. You don't put it down. Level 7. What you actually built there is a version of this story where making it feels like freedom, and it does. Genuinely. You can say yes. You can sleep without the background radiation of financial dread that hummed beneath everything for so long you forgot. It was there until the day it stopped. You can help people, actually help them, with real resources, which is the only kind of help that changes things. You can give your children a start that is fundamentally different from the one you were given. That specific thing, that one thing, was worth every year of the grind, every loss, every 3 a.m. moment, every silent dinner where you couldn't explain what you were carrying. That part is real. That part is everything. But there is a weight that freedom doesn't cancel out. You are the first. Which means you have no map. No ancestor stood here before you and left instructions. No one in your bloodline can tell you how to hold this, how to pass it on, how to make sure it outlasts you. You are building the blueprint and living in the building at the same time, and in the quiet moments. Early morning, before the day has demands, before the world remembers you exist. You feel something that doesn't have a clean name. It's not regret. It's not loneliness. It's not pride. It's something closer to weight, the weight of being the one who made it. The weight of a family tree that bends differently the moment it reaches you. The weight of knowing that everything you build now echoes forward, not just through your own life, but through lives that don't exist yet. Children, grandchildren, people who will look up one day and see open sky and simply assume that's what sky looks like. Unlimited, obvious, available. They will never know it was closed. They will never know about the nights, the losses, the specific loneliness of a milestone with no reference point. The dinner conversations where you couldn't explain what you were carrying, they won't know. And that is exactly right. That is the whole point. Closed generational wealth is not a number in an account. It's a different starting line. You took an invisible ceiling, one that nobody in your family ever thought to question, and you made it the floor. The view from here is nothing like you imagined. It's heavier, quieter, more real, and you wouldn't trade it for any version of easier. If this story lives somewhere inside you, if you recognized yourself in any level of this journey, then you're already further along than you think. Drop in the comments. Which level are you in right now?
Yeah.
And if this reached you, share it with someone who needs to hear that the ceiling was never real.